1, 2. Hi, how are you?
Better now.
All right, so Erin, start at the beginning. When did you find out you needed a kidney transplant?
Thanks for having us.
So this is episode 26 of The Loft. I'm here with Erin and Brianna. For those who may not know, they have one of the better feel-good stories that I've personally heard of around here. A story so good that landed you guys on the Ellen show.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Incredible. I mean, we never ever thought that Be More would ever become anything like this,
Right.
nor did we ever think like the Ellen DeGeneres show would like pick us up.
Yeah.
So really incredible.
How'd that come about?
Well, it happened like a while ago because it happened right before COVID. So we were supposed to go on the show, fly out and everything. Like our flights were booked and then COVID happened.
Oh,
so they canceled everything.
Oh, man.
Which was a huge bummer. And then we just kind of thought like it was never going to happen again. So like we had hope, but we just were like, all right, that moment passed.
So they found you guys?
Yeah.
Well,
And then
actually, it was People Magazine that found us first. I think we did an interview with the local Channel 6 News.
Okay.
They were doing a donor-thon.
Okay.
And People Magazine picked us up out of nowhere. Like, we didn't even know they were writing a story, but we just found out they posted one.
That's amazing.
And then I think that's when things just like it was like overnight. We were just getting phone calls from a bunch of different people. So
like I remember you FaceTimed me. You were like, guess who just freaking called me? It was the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Oh, so the producer hit you up?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I could imagine that phone call of like...
Well, actually, they called my mom first. So I had my brother on the phone, and he's like, guess who Mom is talking to right now? He's like, the Ellen DeGeneres show. I'm like, shut up, you're such a liar. I'm like, you are not. But it was real. And then when a California number called me a couple minutes later, I was like, oh my goodness. I literally, I think that was like one of the moments in my life I couldn't stop shaking. Like even for days,
so
I was like, my body wouldn't stop shaking.
Yeah,
that's so
super surreal moment.
That's exciting. You guys became best friends, and that's awesome. So for those who haven't, who are listening, who may not know, you believe you were the recipient, right?
Yes.
And you needed a kidney.
Yes.
And you donated, right? So how did that transpire, and how did that come about?
So I was 24 when I went into kidney failure, and it was like a super random thing. I had kidney disease my whole life, but transplant was never talked about. I had high blood pressure, which stemmed into kidney disease. And a month after I got married, when I was 24 years old, I went in for a checkup, and I was in kidney failure. My blood pressure was like super, super high. So they sent me to the ER to get an emergency biopsy done. And from there, it was just like a downward spiral of things. I had to get an emergency biopsy done. I had to be put on dialysis. I went onto a transplant list, and crazy.
And that's a process, right?
Yeah. To even get on the list, you have to go through like so many evaluations to even, I mean, it's sad to say, but they have to like know that you want the kidney. So you have to go through like a bunch of evaluations. You
didn't have to stay in a home or anything, right? Because I know that there are certain people who have to stay in like certain recovery homes and stuff.
Yeah, no.
So where do you come in?
So, do you want to tell the story of
your
husband making a Facebook
So
page?
I kept it to myself for a while because I didn't want the sympathy. I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. And then my husband like really encouraged me to make a Facebook post. So he made like a whole page dedicated to me getting a kidney. And I mean, I didn't really think much of it. I just kind of hoped that someone would see it, maybe feel compelled to want to do something. And sure enough, Brianna saw it. No idea who I was. No idea. Like, we had no connection to each other whatsoever.
That's amazing.
And she just felt like she wanted to do it.
And from the Ellen interview that I watched, you said you felt like you just had to do it, right?
Yeah.
You just didn't know.
I mean, I was literally just scrolling Facebook, and I feel like you read stories all the time, but you never really feel like you were made to do something in that story. Like, I just felt this overwhelming feeling on my heart, like, hey, you're this person's perfect match. And I couldn't tell you why. I always make a joke. I'm like, I can't even look at the sight of a needle, let alone, I had never had a surgery or anything.
Wow.
So to feel like I was like literally compelled to give somebody an organ, I was like, why me? But it was just the most amazing and overwhelming feeling I've ever felt in my whole life. But
that's amazing. Yeah. And then here you are today, right? You guys are as close as ever, right?
It's crazy.
That's amazing. And so you were O positive, right? It's like you had the blood type, and then you got rejected the first time, right?
Yeah, so I got tested for 6 months at the first hospital that Erin was registered at, and I got to the step right before surgery, and they were like, sorry, you're not approved. They thought I had high blood pressure. And turns out I just have white coat syndrome, but they didn't send me home with that 24-hour blood pressure monitor, which the second hospital did on the first day, which confirmed I didn't have high blood pressure and made me eligible to donate.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was the surgery process?
I mean, it was so quick. I feel
I
like
know.
it was like,
Isn't
it was so many nerves, and then it was like done.
Yeah.
It's usually like what, 2 to 3 hours, right?
Oh.
I think it was.
Well, I had complications, so mine went longer. But what were
I
you?
think I was 3 hours.
Yeah,
and
mine
then-
was close to like 5, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even remember.
Because I had I had a catheter in my stomach from dialysis,
right? Yeah.
so it like left a lot of scar tissue. So they had to like work around that type thing.
And
Yeah.
dialysis, when you have that, right, you last like what? You can live an extra 10 years after 30? Is it
Yeah,
something
but like
that?
it's so weird too because people after you have a transplant, they're like, "Don't you feel amazing?" I'm like, I feel exactly how I felt when I was on dialysis because dialysis makes you feel human again, but like you just don't want to live on dialysis for the rest of your life.
And for the listeners, I mean, because I had to educate myself before you guys came on, the kidney, it filters out waste and stuff like that and helps produce nutrients and all?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to ask too, so you mentioned how you felt like you kind of felt like you just had to do it. Do you believe in everything happens for a reason? Are you guys big proponents in that?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, she originally got rejected. So
Right.
when that happened, I just remember, like, I didn't know her, but I just remember being so, like, connected to her already.
Right.
And then when we had the second chance to go through the process again, I just knew in my heart it was her. I was like, there's just no other match. Like, it has to be Brianna.
It's amazing.
So.
And it felt like it was supposed to happen at the hospital that it happened
Yes.
at. Like, nothing against the first hospital. They were so thorough and so great. But I just feel like even she was a stranger to me before.
Yeah.
And then we met in between before we got tested the second time.
Right.
So then it was like, I was so passionate about donating to her prior to, with her just being a stranger. But then once we, like, got this friendship and all, it was like, it was so much more of a reason to fight for her. And it was like...
Right.
I don't know, it just felt so right at the second hospital.
And it felt like they were fighting for us too.
Oh, for
you know?
sure.
Like
Yeah.
they loved our story and they
amazing.
wanted us to, they were fighting for us.
That's amazing. And so are you guys religious at all? Are you?
I am, yeah.
You are? Okay. So, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So, what was it like afterwards? Like the recovery and like what, and how your relationship grew? Like how did you guys' relationship grow after the whole process?
So you had like we both kind of had like gnarly recoveries.
Yeah. I mean, typically, though, for a donor, it's super quick recovery. I just had never had a surgery before and never been under anesthesia. So I did get a little bit sick like the day after, which did make me have to stay a couple more days in the hospital. But other than that, it was like in 2 weeks, I was 100% back to normal, back to work, like honestly a breeze.
Yeah.
But,
And I had complications with like a fluid pocket that was left in there. And so it rested on my hip and they didn't catch it in time. So I wasn't able to walk. So I couldn't like recover by walking on my own. So I had to go back in for that. So my recovery was definitely longer than hers, but obviously it's so worth it.
So I want to ask, what is the definition of being more, where did that come from, that name?
Yeah.
So when I was testing for Erin to become her donor, I kept a video log. And I honestly feel like the process of getting tested to be a donor is just so emotional for me too. Like it was this life-changing experience going through it and like going to do this for someone. So I just wanted to keep track of the journey and just kind of educate people on what organ donation was about and like how testing was. And it was really thorough. And it was just like, it was emotional. Like I feel like I had so much in me that I just needed to talk about through the process. So when I kept this video log, it was originally to, like I said, explain like what organ donation is like and the process. But then towards the end, it became, when I got turned down, it became about helping Erin find a donor if it wasn't me. But in that, I just made this statement and it really just stuck with, I feel like, the both of us. I said, if you can't be more by being an organ donor, just be more in this life, be more loving, be more selfless, be more caring, and just like be a good person. And like there's so much negativity in the world and like just be above that and just do kind things for people.
That's
so
amazing. Yeah, that is very true though. Because I would even say COVID definitely opened people's eyes up to that, and that's something that I even try to do like work on as well, as like just being more positive and being more open. And like seeing your Instagram page, I was scrolling down, and so you guys are now, I guess, consider outreach, right? You guys help other groups, other people find their donors.
Yeah,
That's
I feel
amazing.
like we're like a little bit of everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been doing that for?
Like we were trying to figure this out yesterday.
I know. I can't remember if we started before or after our surgery.
I feel like it was after.
Yeah.
It would make sense if
So
it was
it's about
after,
4
but
years.
4
Yeah.
years, yeah.
That's amazing. And then when did that whole surgery happen?
September 12th, 2017. So we're almost on 4 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what are your guys' goals going into the future?
I mean, I feel like we have so many.
I know.
One day we just could pray that we could make this just our full-time
Like your
thing, you know?
full-time
Yeah.
thing, right?
Just because we care about it so much, and we just want other people to care about it
I
too.
know.
So.
But I feel like it really does resonate with people. Like, and there's so many different aspects to it, and the different people who we connect with, like either they're affected by organ donation themselves, they need a donation, or somebody in their family does, or maybe they just stumbled across our page and are like inspired to possibly become a donor, or just want to educate people.
Yeah.
There's so many different walks of life I feel like we come across, and it's just like grown into this giant thing where there's so many different purposes that we can serve on there.
Yeah.
There is something beautiful in giving a piece of yourself to somebody else, like a literal piece of yourself.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the Netflix movie. I just watched it recently. It's called Two Hearts. I don't know if you guys ever seen it.
I actually heard of it, but I haven't
But
seen
it's
it
about it's like these two families, a young 19-year-old and like some like 30-something-year-old, and the 19-year-old has a brain aneurysm and has to donate his heart to the guy who needs a heart, the older guy, and the older guy gets his heart and meets the family of the donor, and it's like they become a family.
Yeah.
Do you guys, that feel like I can imagine that's probably how it feels,
Yeah.
right?
Our families are so
Yeah.
connected now.
I feel like even just in the hospitals when they all met for the first time, and they literally just became one.
Yeah.
Like they.
That must have been a beautiful experience.
I know.
Yeah, and I think like something that we don't always touch on too is like the hesitancy that came from my family too, to like just give an organ
Right.
to a stranger.
Right.
And my dad was like the biggest like nervous wreck because I'm his baby, and I really just had to explain to him, Erin's somebody else's baby. Like
Right.
if that was me, you would want someone to fight for me too.
Right.
It's a great perspective.
Yeah, and I think he really did get that like closer to the surgery, and I think meeting their family,
Right.
like I feel like it just really changed his whole perspective, and now it's like the greatest thing in his whole life
Yeah.
to like be able to say his daughter did that, and
mean,
to like
it's-
have Erin's family.
It's putting
Yeah.
the faith over fear, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've been peeping your
Yeah.
quotes and stuff a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So how has it been helping the other families? I'm sure it's very rewarding, right?
Oh
Yeah,
my
I mean,
gosh,
we've had a couple success stories that we kind of like had our hands in.
Yeah.
But it's just so amazing. Like we cheer. We're so
Yeah.
excited every time someone finds either a donor or they're getting a kidney. Like it's the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
I really just feel like it's totally our purpose in life, even if it's just us like cheering people on.
Yeah.
And
And
it's-
just like walking the journey with them.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
just to be there for these people who might not have somebody there for them.
Right.
So incredible.
Yeah.
And like it's amazing how to like finding your purpose without even looking for it. And that's usually how you find most things, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So what was your family's reaction to finding out that you found a match?
So I remember my mom just thinking like Brianna was a walking, talking angel. And I mean, I think that too. But my parents were blown away. And my dad was speechless, like that someone would want to do this for his daughter. Like it's...
I actually don't even think I've ever
Yeah.
heard your parents'
Yeah.
side. I feel like I tend to maybe talk about mine.
Yeah.
But I don't even know like when your parents saw the video
I know.
log.
So if my dad saw this, he'd probably like deny it. But my mom
I was about
said...
to say we can call him up on the pod and have him talk.
My mom said that the one day, like after Brianna had gone through everything for me, that my dad just like cried at the kitchen sink because he was just like so overwhelmed. And I mean, there were so many times that I would just cry at my kitchen sink because it's so overwhelming. You just can't believe it.
Do you think it inspired you guys to start paying it forward?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
I
my
mean-
gosh, yes.
This is not who I was before I got sick. You know, like I wasn't this person at all. I always say I would not be this person if I didn't get sick. So
Yeah.
it's
Right.
like a blessing almost because
Right.
it totally changed our world.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm just so much more grateful for my life and for other people's lives, and I just care so much more about people because
Yeah.
you never know what people are going through.
It sounds super authentic and beautiful. I mean, who would you say you were before the surgery and before you got sick?
So I just feel like I was going through life without a purpose. Like I just was living day to day, and that was it. And now that I like am who I am, I look back on that and I'm like, that's not a way to live. Like
It's like
yeah, like it just, again, like I feel complete because of who I am now, because of what we went through. And I just, not that I was ungrateful for my life, but I definitely took it for granted.
Yeah, one of the worst feelings in the world I personally experienced, like, you know, I'm 24 now, so it's like, you know, when you're 21, you're out doing whatever, it's like you feel like there's no purpose in life, and you feel like it's hard when you feel like you have no direction, and then all of a sudden you stumble upon a few people that you meet, like you guys, and then it's like, you know, you start to feel, all right, you know, you start to feel you have a destination, a goal. Like I've recently gotten involved in nonprofits and stuff. So it's like, that's been super fulfilling for me. Yeah. What would you say is fulfilling for you guys?
Oh my gosh, everything.
Yeah, I know it's a,
Yeah. And honestly, even to take a step back, like with you saying you don't know like what your purpose is yet, or like you're just recently found it. I always say look for the signs. Like, it's really weird because before this happened, I would go shopping just like at Michael's or Target or something, and I would lift a plate or anything, like a bowl in the store, and I would actually find these little letters. They were little Bible verses all over the store. And I found like 5 of them. It's bizarre. I'm like, I've never heard of someone that finds like these little things, but I really took them as signs of like something, you need to be doing something more, or like just like pay attention to these signs. And even actually the first day, I think it was, that I got tested for Aaron, I woke up and there was a rainbow, and I was like, wow, like these are just little acknowledgments that like I'm supposed to be doing this. So like just keep an eye out for those signs, because it might not even seem like it's related, but it's just like this little nudge from God, like, keep going, you're doing something. Like,
I firmly believe in that. Like, I do find a sign in every single thing that happens in my life. Like, I was telling this to, I was just on a podcast earlier this week, and I was talking about how I lost my car, and I was like, all right, like I said, and I drop this quote every single episode. So I say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And, you know, if before I would have, you know, came from my grandmom, so before she told me that, I was always like thinking the world hated me. You know, to everything that happened to me, I thought the world was against me. And, you know, when I lost my car, I got in an accident, got totaled, whatever. In my head, I was like, you know what? I was like, this is a really bad time in my life, but I know that in a month or two, when I get a new car, or when, you know, I start able to leave the house again, like, you know, it'll all be full circle, right? So for this past month, like, didn't really go out that much, like, besides when I was like DJing or whatever, but I would sit in my house, and I'm studying for an insurance exam coming up. So I studied for that, was working on music, was, you know, filming podcasts. Like, I was like able to channel that bad energy into, like, you know what, maybe this is like a sign from God or whoever you believe in, that I should be focusing on this, because I didn't have a car to go out and do stupid shit or get distracted. And then, you know, yesterday my new car comes back from the shop, and I'm like, all right, I got a car now. It's like, you know, because like you just take the pain, and it's always temporary, you know. And I can imagine like something that you must have. I mean, at that time, were you thinking that? Were you like, when you went through that?
It's so hard when you're in the moment to think like everything's gonna get better, because you're just like, I was your age. I was 24 years old. I had just gotten married. Like, this was not the way my life was supposed to turn out.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. And I just remember there was like I can't say I was positive every day, because that's a total lie. I mean, there's tons of self-loathing, but I had to have that hope that Brianna was out there, or just that things were going to be okay. You just have to know that even though it's like so shitty right now, that God has a plan for you, and it's all going to work out in the end.
What did you do to help with the self-loathing?
Pray. I don't think I've ever been like close to God until I went through what I went through, and that just changed everything. And honestly, just talking to people too, like the fact that people wanted to help, it's just so weird, because I mean, I remember having dinner with a friend before, and them asking me like, you're not just asking people for kidneys, and I'm like, no, you can't, like, you can't just go up to someone and be like, will you please donate your kidney to me? Like, it's so much harder than that. So the fact that people wanted to just make pages on their own for me, or just share my story that didn't know me, like, it's just so overwhelming. Like, so you had a lot of support. So much support. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Where do you think it comes from, that willingness to donate? Because you were just saying how you can't just go up and ask. I'm going to ask you, like, Brianna, where do you think it comes from? Just that. I don't even know. I mean, I just felt like I connected with her. I mean, it just in life in general. I mean, I don't want to sound like
No, go
like
ahead.
in a certain way, but I always felt like I was made for more. Like I was
Okay.
made to do something more in this life. And it's funny because little things happen in my life where I was like, oh, this is what I was made for. Like my boyfriend was in the military and he was going to be away for like 8 months. And I'm like, I was made for this. I can handle it. I just know I was a good person and that I could handle these things. And I feel like every different obstacle I faced in my life, I'm like, you know what, I can handle this. Like I was made to do something more and to make an impact on people's lives. And I don't know, I just think maybe it's just the selfless nature that my parents instilled in me growing up, that I just knew I was made to do something for someone and to help people in the world. But yeah, I would have never ever thought I would donate an organ.
Well, more people, I think more people need your outlook on life
Yeah.
because there are so many people out there who just feel like the world's against them and feel like that they have nothing. And it's like, you know, when you think like you and you change the way you look at stuff and you just keep a positive mindset, it really just goes full circle for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's another thing too. I would always say like just to keep pushing because you know you never know when the best thing in your life can come right around the corner from you.
Yeah.
So
You know?
true.
And if you always just see something as like that's your purpose, even if it doesn't work out how it's supposed to. Like I was turned down from a hospital. Like I literally thought this was now my new life purpose was to save this person's life, and they told me no.
And we
I
had
was
so many conversations about that.
I was hysterical.
Right.
Like it just broke my heart. But I'm like, I shifted my perspective that night. I finished this video log to like try to give Erin still hope and like I don't know. I just feel like I was still made to do something in the
Right.
process, even if it wasn't to give Erin my kidney. It was to help her find someone.
Right.
Like I just
Yeah.
still had that purpose. So if,
Right.
like you're saying, like you've just shift your perspective and like you can always turn something into a positive and like make a different journey out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still ended
Would
up
you
donating.
say you're hopelessly optimistic, or would you say you're just like not hopelessly, but like would you say you're just cautious? Like you're just so optimistic all the time that eventually something's got to go good for you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I try to be. I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes everybody tends to like not be, but I mean, I feel like I just try my best to like make something good, even if it's
Right.
not good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's amazing. I wanted to dive in too because I'm sure there's so many people curious. And by the way, this is their first podcast. They went from the Ellen Show to the Loft. If the Ellen Show is right here. The Loft is like
It's
right
right
here. But so I mean, first of all, it's freaking cool as hell that you guys are on the Ellen Show. Yeah. So we were talking about a little bit like during like the break, 30 seconds. But what was that process like when you got like was there a crew that came to your house? Like what was the process like?
Well, like Erin was telling you earlier before we started this, everything happened right before the world shut down for COVID. So it was supposed to be a lot different than how it turned out. We were actually
Supposed to be on set, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we found out on, I think it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and they were like, "You're flying out this weekend. You're gonna be here Monday." We taped the show Wednesday. Like it was like
Wow.
Yeah.
crazy how quick it was supposed to happen and us go there. But yeah,
know.
the world shut down.
That's
and
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This was 2017.
No, this
Or,
is.
I'm sorry,
no,
tw-
our surgery was. But
2020 they had you on.
yeah,
Yes.
I
yeah.
was about to say 2018. 2018 I was actually living right down the street from Warner Brothers Studios.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, wow.
so I was like, oh shit, maybe, whatever. But so basically they had a film crew show up to your house.
No,
They couldn't because
Yeah.
of COVID.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they had like a.
so
I don't even know what to call it.
yeah.
Would they
I-
mail
they
you
just
like a
shipped everything.
Yeah, they
A ring light.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
they
a
try
ring
to
light.
keep it like on the DL, like their process.
Oh yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I mean, they just shipped everything so we could do it ourselves from
Yeah.
home, so it was safe
Okay.
with COVID. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we just had someone zoom in and like guide us through
Yeah.
it, how to hook everything up.
And I had you. So what's your view? So like I'm always curious too. Like when someone's on like a video call on Ellen Show, what do you see? Do you see her face?
Oh yeah.
It was like you're watching TV.
It's there's a countdown
Yeah.
too, which is so nerve
Yeah.
wracking.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'd be
But
so
I
know.
nervous.
I almost wish it was like a Zoom look, like zoomed in on her
Like,
face,
right on her
like
face,
so
yeah.
you would
Yeah.
feel like, oh my gosh, like you're really talking. Like it
Yeah.
felt like I was watching TV.
Oh.
It was
Yes.
still
Yeah.
incredible, but it was like,
Could we see ourselves? I don't even remember. Was it just her?
no, I don't know. Actually,
don't
we might have been in the
remember.
top corner, but we were so starstruck we don't
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't
remember a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I blacked out. I don't
I could-
remember like
Well,
nothing.
I'll put a little clip in this episode so you guys can see a little bit. But it was so cool. I mean, what was it? Yeah, what was it like talking to Ellen? Like just
It's surprisingly easy.
Yeah.
Like she's great at her job. I mean,
Oh
she
my
does it
gosh,
for a
yeah.
living. So she just asks you a question, you fire right back, and
Yeah.
it really wasn't like it was
No.
easy.
And I'm really glad we weren't so emotional, because actually when we
Yeah.
did our first interviews like with the producers, we were hysterical, like
Yeah.
both like sobbing.
Yeah.
No
I mean, I
way.
love Ellen so much, just like how she gives back to so many people and just makes a difference in the world. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I want
absolutely.
to be that. Like,
Yeah.
I want to make this
Absolutely.
impact on people. And
Absolutely.
like, yeah, so we were a mess originally,
Yeah.
and we thought we were going to be the day of too, but I think we got ourselves so worked
Yeah.
up that we
Probably
like
just
held it
had
together.
so many nerves,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you just like you said, you blacked out.
Yeah.
And first of all, congratulations, $20,000.
I know.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Yeah, was it Shutterfly?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
no free brand deals, but but that's pretty cool though. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the actress's name that was on there?
Sarah
Highland.
Hyland, and
Yeah.
she had a kidney transplant.
Where's she from? She had-
Modern
She
Family.
had two, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she
Two.
did have two.
Her
Yeah.
brother and her
Mhm.
father, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Damn, that's amazing.
I know.
Good for her. So what? So she gave
No, she received.
received two
Yeah.
different ones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Man,
Yeah, I
that's-
don't know what happened. I forget what happened to her first one, but I know it just probably failed.
Yeah.
Oh, failed.
Yeah.
Is there a high failure rate for kidney?
I think it just really depends. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like it's just like
yeah, sometimes you don't even know why it happens. It just
Yeah.
does. Or sometimes people can have them for 30 years,
yeah.
you know. You
But
never
they
know.
Yeah.
do say a living donor kidney lasts longer than from a deceased
yeah.
donor.
Well,
yeah.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that they mostly just prefer living ones, right? I mean, or
Yeah,
they
I mean,
do accept it.
As a recipient, like you'll want anything, but
yeah,
typically you do pray for a living donor because,
Yeah.
like you said, they last a lot longer. But yeah.
okay, nice. And yeah, so and I was saying like when you get a living one, you last like what 30 years? 30.
I mean, you
All
could.
depends,
It just
yeah.
All
depends.
depends,
So yeah,
right?
like we're on 4 years, and
Yeah.
I hope I get
I
40
know.
more.
It's
you know,
amazing.
yeah.
And I hope so too.
Yeah.
So were you able to talk with Alan during the break? A little
No.
bit. So what?
Yeah.
So
No,
what was
yeah,
the
it
break
went-
like?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember if maybe like the producers popped back
Like,
up
did
or
Nicole
like
come on or
somebody
something?
might have came
Yeah.
up.
So it was very guided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Did they give
Yeah.
you a little rundown of what she was going to ask you?
Yes. Yeah. So you have like a list of questions, but they also tell you she can go rogue, which
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
scary.
I mean,
You almost want like the.
I think there's a short period of time, and they just want to make sure they tell your story in the best way possible. So they kind of like tell what she might ask, and yeah, they say like she could just go off the rails too.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. What else have you guys been? Have you done any other interviews or anything like that? Or
We did like a really awesome Inside Edition interview, but it never got aired because of
Yeah.
COVID. That happened literally on
that
the
was
brink.
that same night
Yes,
that they called.
yes,
Wow.
The night that People Magazine, the day that it
Wow.
went out, that night is when we got a call from the
Yeah.
Ellen Show and Inside
And that was
Edition.
such a long interview too.
Yeah.
It was like what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
They were there forever.
why
And
are
then-
they not? I'm sorry.
I think it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
because COVID. I
Yeah.
mean, COVID happened,
mean-
and they were like, we were put on the back burner.
Yeah, it just had to be their main focus.
Yeah.
Like the whole
Right.
world
Definitely.
was shutting down, and like so many people were getting
Oh,
sick,
yeah.
and it was like that's what they
Different
needed to
stories
focus their
that
they
stories
had
on.
to-
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
But
And
I
then-
mean, we did other like local news.
Yeah, Action 6. We've been on Action 6 a
Couple
bunch of
times,
times.
yeah.
Yeah. Which has been great.
Yeah.
And they're awesome there too.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
so nice. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So what are your plans for the future in terms of where you want the the team Be More to go?
So we like talk about this all the time. I
Yeah.
feel like when we truly know, we'll know. Like
Yeah.
we have ideas, but
Yeah.
we just want to be 100% sure with what our direction goes towards.
Yeah, and I feel like we do have some things in the works.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to work with a couple hospitals and trying to give them an opportunity to, if somebody wants to share their story, how they can get in contact with us and get their story out there. So there's different avenues that we never even thought of that
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
are coming up, and a bunch of different opportunities in the works too that we just can't talk about yet.
Yeah.
So do you guys have a resource that you guys promote or advocate for to if somebody was looking for a donor or wants to donate?
So I kind of think we just say like you can talk to us.
Yeah.
But
Because I know Gift of
think.
Life is one, right?
yeah, Gift
Yeah.
of Life is great, and
Yes,
that
we
they're
love them.
they're awesome. They're great over there.
And I mean, the National Kidney Foundation, I mean, we've referred people to a lot of different resources depending on what they need from us. If they just need to get their story out there and they want to talk to someone who's been through it, someone that is looking to donate, or somebody that is receiving an organ, then it's like they can talk to either of us. But also, we've referred them to like even Donate Life America. People have different resources that people might need that we just have to like
Right.
yeah.
get them to the right answer.
You mentioned I wanted to dive a little bit more into the video. Was it a blog or was this you just documenting?
Yeah, it's just like a video log.
Did you
nothing
put it together?
Professional or
Is
anything.
is it out anywhere?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have a link in the description for that. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I'll have to check that
Oh my
out.
gosh, lots of tears. Brace yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a great speaker, so it was nothing polished. It was really just like
But
keeping this video log of
keeping
my
it
journey.
raw.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of updated after every appointment I had and just like
Mm-hmm.
the emotions I was going through. And yeah,
What were your emotions like during the process?
it was a lot. Like, I feel like you don't know what it's going to feel like until you're going through it. Like, it's like you're kind of risking your life. Like, it's like
Right.
like you're taking this chance and just doing something so moving, and you're so passionate about it. Actually, that's something that I felt like I kind of struggled with, like, in the process. It took 6 months at the first hospital, and it's all I could think about. Like, I had a hard time, like, keeping up with my friendships and stuff, and like being social, because
Right.
my mind was just so consumed by this, and it's like all I could think about. And you honestly don't know how long the process is going to be. So because it took so long at the first hospital, which at the second hospital, within a month of my first appointment, we had the surgery, like a month later.
Wow.
So it was so quick at the second.
Wow.
But so I think I just didn't know when it was going to happen. I'm like, is it going to be next week? Like, am I going to get this call? Like, do I have to, like, tell my work, like, drop everything? So it was just a very emotional, like, heavy process, but it was the most life-changing process I've ever done in my whole life.
amazing.
Yeah. And like Erin said earlier, like, I have no idea who I was before I donated my kidney. I'm like, what did I do every day?
Yeah.
Like, what
Wow.
did I
I
think
feel the
of?
same way.
It was
Like,
that life-changing for
it's
both
like-
of you guys?
Absolutely.
Beyond. Like, it's like the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning is like, let me check Be More. Like, who needs us? Like, who can we talk to? There's so many people that reach out just to, like, walk with them through the journey. Like, I've had a lot of people where they were either in testing or considering testing, and they're like, can I call you? Like, and we've just talked for hours, and it's like, that gives me so much purpose and, like,
Yeah,
fulfillment
that's
in my
amazing.
life. Yeah.
That's so nice. I
I
love
know.
that. I'm like, oh my god, I love. That's so nice. Like, just to meet somebody who, like, is just super genuine. You know, both of you
yes,
guys,
yeah.
and it seems like this experience like really changed you guys for the better.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you feel like you were before that? Like,
I couldn't even tell you.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Man.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I knew I was an artist. That's the thing. I'm
Okay.
like, I thought, like, I knew I had a bigger purpose, but I'm like, I was an artist. Like, that was
Yeah.
my thing. Like, I
Right.
drew and I painted, and I'm like, that was my thing. It's still, I still work as an artist right now, but
That's
that's
cool.
not my passion.
Right.
Right.
Like, I love it. I'm like, love
Your
being creative.
passion's-
I love my job. But my passion is Be More and helping people and, like, organ donation, which
Right.
it's crazy because that would have never been in my life. Nobody in my
Right.
family has had a transplant or needed one.
Right.
So I just never would have had
Yeah.
that purpose unless
That's
I came
amazing.
across Erin's story on Facebook.
That's amazing. And all
Yeah.
because of Facebook and social media.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
amazing, man. So, like, if anything comes in the future, I would love to work with you guys in the future. Are you guys have events going on? You guys do anything like that yet or no?
We have done some.
We have,
yeah.
and they've been great.
Yeah, they've been awesome.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think COVID just kind of put a halt to that
Right,
kind of
right.
stuff. But I mean, we have so many dreams of, like, what this can become, and I feel like
Right.
we've become so close with people all around the world and, like, everywhere. So it's like, I wish we could do, like, a road trip where we, like, hit all
Right.
these different states and do all these, like, little events and, like, get people together and,
feel
like,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
many possibilities.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could. I mean, my friend Brittany right now is working on a 50 Smiles in 50 different states.
That's
This
awesome.
girl, Brittany Negler, she's a TikToker, and she like lost her teeth, and she got this a doctor donated her teeth, and it was like a super emotional video, and now she's dedicating like her life to helping people who
That's
feel
awesome,
just kind of same way as you guys,
Yeah.
and she's very big on like beauty and stuff like that. So it's so refreshing and
awesome.
nice to meet people like you guys, and I would love to help out any way I can, get
Thank
involved
you.
any way I can, and work with like other nonprofits too. So it was super exciting, and I was gonna mention you guys should start like a podcast or something.
You know,
You
I've
guys
thought of these
should,
things so many times.
like-
Like, there's so
Yeah.
many, there's so many different routes we could go down.
I know.
Cause
There
you,
really are.
Because you guys could have like maybe like recipients and like donor, people in
Yeah.
donors. So I think it'd be really cool, just to
Yeah.
constantly
Just the more people that know about it.
Yeah.
just educate
Makes it-
people.
exactly,
I-
yeah.
that's the main goal when it comes to stuff like this. And you guys are so passionate about it, and it's and something that you guys have went through, so you can personally speak about it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back. So Erin has an announcement that she wants to. Is it a Loft exclusive? Does anyone know yet?
Yeah, people know. But like Team B,
Yeah, we didn't
doesn't know
announce on
yet.
our
Yeah,
page yet.
we haven't
Yeah.
announced
Oh,
on our
so
page.
everybody watching at Team Be More, if you stay tuned till the end, okay, go ahead.
So I'm pregnant, which which is so exciting.
Congratulations.
A little over 4 months, and I would never be here if it wasn't for Brianna. I would never be able to have a family if it wasn't for Brianna. So she's the best.
That's amazing. That's gonna be so. Oh, I got the chills
And
from
she
that.
told me on my birthday. I remember she was very early on, and
Yeah.
she's like, Bri, I'm trying to send you a gift card. Open your phone. I can't get it to go through. Tell me if you get it. And then I opened my phone, and it was an ultrasound photo, or no, maybe it was your pregnancy test.
Oh,
I forget what you sent me, but I was like,
Yes.
stop. Like, I just like, oh my gosh,
I
I
would've
was
broke
so
down.
happy.
Out of everyone,
so
she was
happy.
like the one I wanted to tell the
and to
most.
think like you gave her the gift of life in more than one way,
Yes.
you know, and
Yes.
yeah, that's just
Incredible.
And the baby's right next to my kidney.
Yeah, so yeah, my kidney's here and baby's here.
Guys, that's perfect. Okay, this is what the loft's about. That's so
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
That's so amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have the gender yet?
Oh, we're having a girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to share any names, or you kind of just like?
No names yet.
Okay,
Yeah, no
okay.
names yet.
I gotta
Okay.
find out on the ride home.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can't wait till I have my son. Eventually, Nathan Nichols. That's my.
Nobody can take your name now. It's
yeah,
out there.
True. Yeah. Don't take it. All right. But yeah. So that's a beautiful way to an episode, right?
Yes, yeah.
So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Surprise to everybody in the team. Be more family. Yeah, she's pregnant.
Woo!
Hey, that's so exciting. I love that. So yeah, that was episode 26 of The Loft. I'm Kev. That's Brianna.
Yes.
And that's Erin. And peace, guys. Peace.
Bye.
That's amazing.